Welcome to Slasher Sunday, finishing up the Fear Street trilogy with 1666.
1666.
That's the one. Okay, so we travel back in time through a memory that Dina is seeing through the eyes of Sarah Fear. Now, it is very apparent very quickly that Sarah is not who we think she is. She is immediately shown as a literal lifesaver, saving little piglets from being killed.
Yes.
By, not being able to be born. So, what? Okay, let's just say, what did you think of this one? And I just took a poll on the channel of everyone's favorite in the trilogy. What is yours? And what do you think won?
I think my favorite is 1984. Is it 84? What is it?
1994?
No.
The first one?
Sorry, the second one,
1978.
78. I don't know why I was saying 84.
I don't know.
1978, I think. That's
Okay.
my favorite. Which one do I think everybody's favorite is? That one.
Okay.
I think it's 1978.
You would be correct.
Yeah. That one is, I think the most violent and the most, slasher-ish for me. I still like 94, because I like the 90s vibe that's in there. This one's definitely the lowest for me, 1666, but I think that it's a good trilogy altogether, though. I definitely think it deserves to be watched as, 3 back-to-back, obviously because it all connects. And with this one, I really like the use of the actors playing, new roles, but the same actors from the past films. So I thought that was really cool. What about you? What's your favorite?
Oh, I don't know, probably 1978. I do like this one, though. This was the least picked of the three. And I don't know. I quite like it. I know a few people who think this, is the best one. But regardless, I think they're meant to be viewed as one film. So it's really hard to pick, but in that way. But yeah, 78 is obviously gonna talk more to my likings, just with it being a camp slasher and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I do like the 1666 stuff in here, and obviously half this movie is Fear Street 1666. And half this movie is Fear Street 1994 Part 2,
Right.
which is literally named within the film.
Yeah.
So you kind of get a split film, but it's all part of the same story, so it doesn't really matter. I thought that the actors in this all did a pretty good job with their old English accents.
Yeah.
They're not easy to do.
They were kind of doing Irish accents almost. Is what I was hearing. But yeah, I thought they did a good job because it isn't easy to do and to keep it up for the whole film.
I mean, I think that something like The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy and whatnot is better in that regard.
Yeah.
That feels like real actors doing that accent.
Sure, it's more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
this is cool because it's kind of I don't know. It sort of reminds me of Theater Kids.
Yes, I thought, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's good though.
But I like it.
Yeah. And this series obviously isn't meant to be taken all that seriously, anyways, right? It's kind of a playful series, anyway. All right, so man, I'll tell you, these kids back in 1666, they knew how to party.
They sure did. Yeah. I did think it was kind of funny that they're partying kind of I mean, I don't know. I guess
Like a kegger.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
have like alcohol and then they get like drugs and I don't know. I just thought that was a very modern thing, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
Doesn't seem real at all.
it doesn't. But at the same time, I do know that obviously alcohol was like wildly consumed in the past, of course.
Sure.
So that's not unrealistic. And then there was use of drugs, but I always thought that those were more in like religious or spiritual settings, not as like a. But I don't know.
They stole them from a witch.
They did steal them from a witch.
So the fact that a witch exists and that there's like stuff like that, I don't know, that alone just makes it in a fantasy realm anyway.
But she's not really a witch. She's like an herbalist, like a lady that's been ostracized because of her
Then why
Right.
does she possess like
the
book
demon
of,
books
yeah,
and stuff.
That's
I guess
pretty
you're
witchy.
right. She's a
Especially
witch.
since those straight up work.
They do work. You're right. They work.
They do
Yeah.
like they do literally make a guy make a deal with a devil that goes on for over 300 years.
Yeah, you're right.
And completely like imprisons an entire half of a area.
Yeah, she's a real witch. I
Yes.
take it back.
No, that's all right. And it's just I know that this still exists in the world, which is beyond sad to me. I know in like I think it was Uganda, they just passed a law that they could kill you for being being caught doing gay acts. But yeah, just the fear of actual literal death.
Yeah.
Being upheld by like your fellow townsman, your fellow neighbor, your father, right? Because obviously, spoilers for this. When Sarah is murdered in this, her father is there watching it,
Yeah.
right? And even is like part of the people who are getting her confession,
Yeah.
even though he's like trying to help her because he knows there's no way out of it. I don't really care. We'll get to that part, but killing people
Yeah.
because
Straight up killing them.
because they don't think, man, just like the literal interpretation of the Old Testament
Yes.
is, I mean, but at this point, that's all the reference they had, and
Yeah. I mean, it's scary.
I'm not condoning it. It's awful, and people are idiots.
Yes, things like this, like Fear Street 1666 and like The Witch, like it's always kind of scary to imagine being in a time where like if you were part of a town, like that could be the only like society for like hundreds of miles kind of thing. Like you're just out there. So
You're not running.
right. Like, and even if you did run, like, you'd have to be, like, in the wilderness and, like, surviving out in the wilderness then. Like, if you wanted the safety of the community, you had to exist within the community's rule and their
confines.
rules. Yeah, and it's just really, I mean, obviously that's very different now, like, in modern America. Like, if you know, a lot of people will have the experience where they grow up in a small town, you know, full of, like, people who maybe don't have the same beliefs that they do or whatever, but they can, like, ultimately leave that town and go to, like, more progressive areas or whatever, right? And it's like they don't have that option at all.
No.
I mean, even if they did go to another like town, chances are it's still obviously going to be like a fundamental like Christian like run place. And yeah, just freaky to think about that being like the norm for a lot of people in the early days.
Yeah. Truly terrible. And you know, I mean, of course, we got Sarah and this other girl's relationship is very reminiscent of Dina and Sam's relationship, and they're played by the same actresses. There's obviously a lot of similarities there. So, yeah. Anyways, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so something happens to her dad, and it just shows you the time that they live in, right? Like, they don't run for help. They don't, like, try to get a medicine. They don't do anything. They go and immediately consult the Bible for answers.
Right.
I genuinely could not imagine.
I mean,
that being
Sarah
reality,
does
but-
say, like, he needs medicine.
Sure.
But like her mom Mary, I think, is the other girl's name. It's like Sarah and Mary. Anyway, her mom is like the one that goes to talk to like to other people about it, like religiously. So, but he is the town's priest as well.
Yeah. And then no, he's a pastor,
Or the
but
pastor,
yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Sure. That's her
Right.
dad. And I mean, if you're gonna be gay, you definitely picked the most rebellious and unadvisable partner in that way, being the
Sure.
pastor's daughter. But that's almost just like poetic,
Yes.
right? That it's the pastor's daughter you're going out with. And of course, they think that their wickedness is why the dad's sick. Oh, it's
Yeah.
because we kissed. But if you're indoctrinated with that nonsense and
Oh, of course.
you do that, and it's the first time you've ever done anything like that, and then you wake up the next day and your dad's like literally seems possessed.
You would be like
I mean,
questioning
yeah,
it and
you
thinking
sure.
like, oh gosh, like I did this.
Back then,
It's
I
super
mean,
sad.
what evidence do you have to the contrary?
Right.
You don't have really any hard evidence and science and understanding of the unexplainable.
Yeah.
You don't have outside influences.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of modern society is that you've got so many different wells to draw from of information, and some are poison and some are misinformation and some are truths and some are half truths, right? There's just so many different kinds of people that you can interact with. But in this situation, who she got to learn from, that's gonna change her beliefs? Not many, right?
Yeah.
If any. So just crazy times, like to think, to actually sit there and be like, oh my God, kissing another woman, did that make my dad sick?
Right.
Ooh, I mean, but if you think back to those kinds of times, it makes perfect sense on why they would think that's possible. Plus, they like all the food's rotten.
Yes.
The animals are acting psychotic. They're eating
the
their
pig
young.
eats the babies. Yeah. Of
So,
course, yeah. You're like, this is
my fault.
punishment. This is like divine punishment.
Sure, but I don't know. She also, even though there's like, what is it, pestilence? Like, she doesn't. She's kind of afraid of it. She mentions it, but then I don't know. She quickly throws that aside. She doesn't seem as much like worried that maybe it was her that much after that.
Sarah or
Sarah.
I mean, I think after she has the conversation with the Goods, Samuel Good or whatever, where he's like, you have to Solomon, sorry, where you have
That's
to like
okay.
willingly choose the devil. I think
Right.
after that point, she stops thinking it's her fault because she's
Okay.
like, I wasn't trying to
That's fair.
summon the devil into my heart or whatever. So, but I think up until that point, yeah, she's kind of like on the fence of like, maybe this is my fault. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that speaks to what we were just talking about with like having other influences.
Right.
Now, of course, the irony is that he's the one responsible.
Yes.
And there you go. Their friendship's interesting to me. I don't know if that was like being hinted at as potentially romantic or not. I know that some people immediately jump to she's gay. There are bisexual people in the world. This is like the most underrepresented sexual orientation or whatever preference that there is in film. It's like you're either straight or you're gay, and it's like she could be into him and her.
She's not into him. He is into her though.
Yeah.
He's 100% into her. He even says like, I love you at the end.
Yeah.
And he's like obsessive. I don't think that she's...
You don't think she ever had anything for him?
I did not get the sense that there was an attraction there. I got the sense that it was friendship and like, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence on it, but I was leaning more towards that she wasn't into it, but he was.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, he outright admits he's into it, which, I mean, that's not surprising. She's pretty, and they hang out all the time. That's to be expected. And she might just straight up be gay. I don't know. So she might not be into guys at all, for all I know. Dude, definitely the most horror scene and the best scene for this entire film for me easily is the eye removal of all the children.
It's great.
And the pastor, and he's just like, you know, up at the steeple, and he's like, you know, kind of preaching quietly to all these dead kids that
he's
are
like muttering,
and there's like a pile of their eyes in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah, I love that scene. I think it's super creepy and eerie and just like, what the fuck? Like, it would be so scary to walk in on, and I love...
We need more of that.
We do. I would have liked a lot more of that. I do feel like this is kind of like the least... I mean, I was saying like the least graphic. It is horror for sure, but
absolutely.
I don't know. I think that if we had had more of that kind of imagery, I would have liked this a lot more, like this part 3. But I love the setup to that, and like the families and like the moms outside that are like, my kids are locked in there and everything. So
yeah, I definitely would have liked there to be more carnage and repercussions of Solomon's deal with the devil, like how it kind of just went haywire and got away from him, but like ultimately he doesn't care because he wants what he wants, but like, you know, just total chaos and people turning on each other and killing each other and stuff like that. You could have added a lot more violence and mayhem and frantic kind of behavior into this, because everyone's scared. And in this kind of situation, you have a perfect setting for this. We don't have a polite, civilized society. I mean, we have the beginning workings of one, but it is over dominated by religious fears.
Yeah.
And as soon as any of those religious fears are realized, then all hell is going to break loose. And it kind of does. I just feel like if we could have had more of it, of people turning on each other and like exposing each other as witches and whatever, and everyone's like, you know, trying to kill and murder each other.
Sure.
That, you know, and then it's like Sarah has to step in and be like, you know, not just to save her girlfriend, but to kind of save more people who are being, you know, persecuted for this unjustly. She kind of takes a hit from, you know, more people. That would have been cool to me and added to the horror and just the overall feel of the film. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the reason like Sarah and her girlfriend like even are being persecuted like they are is because they embarrass some dude who's like coming on to them, and they kind of make fun of him, and he gets a hard on, and then everyone laughs him off, and then he's like, "Rawr!" Like, I saw him fornicating with the devil, and then a bunch of other dudes just jump up and they're like, "Yes, me too."
Yeah, I mean, they just want to blame somebody, of course. That's like what they're looking for. But yeah, the fact that it's this guy who just like is upset that he couldn't be with the girl that he wanted to be with because she wasn't into him.
Yeah.
Is just, I mean, but that's just it. Like like with witch burnings, like so many people were accused because they like pissed off their neighbors or whatever.
Sure.
Like it was over petty things.
Sure.
And that's what's so terrifying about it, because it's like people quickly go to witch hunts. You know, if they don't have another explanation or a scapegoat that is satisfying, it's like they'll find one and they'll make one, and they want revenge.
One of the things with any witchcraft movie, especially in this time period, that's always like semi-upsetting to me is when the witchcraft in the film is proven to be real, so it actually like, you know, justifies their actions, so to speak, because it is grounded in you know, it's based. And that to me it is frustrating, because that takes away a bit from the reality of what that was, and that it wasn't real, that there were no fucking witches, that there was no witchcraft going on back then, and they were just straight up like mutilating, torturing, and burning some women mostly at at the stake, so to speak, and literally sometimes, for nothing, for just absolute petty grievances or control, conformity, whatever.
Yeah.
So like when it's actually real, when
Sure.
like, there's some kind of like entity that's coming and killing people and possessing people, that gives, credence to their beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's like these kinds of beliefs, while used in this way, should never be, proven to be true. Because it's not true. So there is that part of me, like, of course, it's a horror movie, and I already know that was going to happen and all that stuff, but when I watch it, I'm always like, ugh. Like, it sucks that it has to be real in this, because these people should not feel vindicated.
Yeah.
Or validated.
Right, yeah.
For, their beliefs, when their beliefs are nonsense.
Sure, yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's my own personal thing, as someone who thinks all of this stuff is, pure nonsense. Just will let her free her. Has to make a deal with Satan. I don't even know what the hell that means. I'll just let her free her.
Are you talking about Mary, or Sarah, how she like won't, like she's not just gonna free her girlfriend. Instead, she's like, I have to go make a deal with the devil because I'm already, like, they're already treating us like this, so we might as well be it. Although, again, with that, like, the logic behind that is, like, if it's real, which it is, by that, you're damning your soul if you make a deal with the devil, when you're being treated like you are already made a deal with the devil by humans. But if you haven't made a deal with the devil, then there's no, like, further, like, punishment, right? So...
Sure, in this instance, when you absolutely, undeniably know it's true, this is definitely the least time where I'm making a deal with the devil, right? Like, because I don't believe in the devil, I'm much more inclined to make a deal with the devil now,
right?
Just to shut people up.
Yeah.
If it was to help my family or my loved one or whatever, if someone was like, I'm going to kill Kaylee unless you make a deal with the devil, I'd have no problem doing it, because I don't think there's going to be any repercussions. But if I saw that it was real, I'd be like, you can kill both of us, because I ain't going to just, like, save her now for us to be punished later.
Right.
No thanks. So, yeah. But, with any show, with anything pertaining to this kind of time period, and you could say this is true for now as well, but really, really back then, it's really complicated as, a 20th and 21st century man living in modern America, who was brought up in a certain way, to look at this kind of situation and try to view it through my own bias lens of, like, how I would react to situations, or how, you should react to this kind of information, this kind of stuff. Like, you can't even begin to comprehend, like, how their thinking is being wired at that time. Like, because you said it's Mary, is that right?
I don't know. I keep
remember.
Thinking it's Mary, but it might not be.
I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't, which is annoying.
I think it might be Hannah. Now that I'm thinking about
it is Hannah.
I think it's Hannah.
It's Hannah. You're right.
I don't know where I was getting
Hannah.
Mary from.
I don't know, but it is 100% Hannah, though.
It's Hannah,
guaranteed. But with Hannah, being a pastor's daughter and everything, of course, when she has the chance to free her, she breaks into the place, she throws the rock, she sneaks in, they can just break out of there. As you said, there's probably not another township for hundreds of miles, and are they going to survive to even get there?
Yeah.
To me, it's worth the chance. I'd rather go out there and find out than stay in town and be burned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, of course, you have to always take into consideration that these people were raised in this environment, and to a degree believe what these people are saying to be true. So it's like, I would just go.
Right.
Yeah, but you live in 21st century. You live in the 21st century.
Right.
Right? Like, you haven't been indoctrinated since birth.
Right.
By every single person you know. There is no outside voice in the community that's like, well, maybe that's just, an allegory, or maybe that's just metaphor, or like that shit didn't exist back then.
No, they were like, this is all literal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just an important thing to me. But yeah, just her making this idea, like, I'm gonna just go make a deal with the devil to get us out of this. Like, no. If you believe in this, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
She doesn't at that point. I don't think.
I thought she did.
I don't know.
I mean, because the only way that guy was able to talk her down was by being like, you have to make a deal with the devil.
You're right.
And then she's going to actively go make a deal with
the
devil?
Yeah, you're right. Because then she's like, I'll get the power then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Solomon makes this deal for, like, money, but also, like, power. Mm-hmm. But then gets stabbed by, like, a frightened girl shortly thereafter. So much for the power.
Yeah, he's not super... I feel like the devil would be like, like, I already have your soul. I don't have to, like, super protect you, because,
Sure. Sure as hell doesn't protect friggin' Matthew good in the end of this.
He gets not only, like, the devil... Like, it's not only Solomon's soul, but it's every good after that continues to do it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And... The chopping off of Seraphir's hand.
That looks great.
That whole sequence where they're fighting and she like rips it off. That's actually pretty rad.
Yeah, it is.
Good gore scene there. Mm-hmm. Definitely visceral. Definitely like, you can feel it when it happens in it. So good job on that one for sure. She confesses to save Hannah's life. Her dad watches. There's no way, like as a parent. But once again, he's been raised in this society and thinks of his daughter as like, just she has to be a sacrificial lamb for this. Like, he thinks that's part of like God's plan or whatever. So he thinks he's doing God's work. People will sacrifice their kids in the name of their beliefs. Look at Jonestown.
Oh, sure.
We know this to be true.
Yeah. You
can listen to the audio recordings of people giving their kid the freaking drink before them and just listening to the kids die slowly. It's don't ever listen to that. I did. I regret it. And we know this to be true as well, but like these people are so excited to hang somebody.
Oh my god, yeah. They're like, yeah. It's an event.
Imagine.
That's all. I could never ever.
This is once again why can't Sadie Sink get a role where her eyes don't get demolished?
Yeah, I know.
Poor Sadie Sink's little eyes.
Her little eyes.
She makes a very small cameo in here. She was probably too busy filming freaking Stranger Things, and she like stopped by the set, did her little accent, and then died.
Yeah.
And we find out that the people who moved the body were her friends, to try to give her like a proper burial. So the proper burial wasn't what she needed. She needed people to know the truth.
Yes.
That was the curse. That's Seraphir's curse. And their BS gets them cursed. Why did I write that?
I don't know. Their BS gets them cursed?
Yeah. It's... Oh, man. Yeah, so, like, basically, someone picks someone specifically because, I mean, they have to come up with a name.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this is one of those scenarios, right, where you don't want to piss off the wrong person. This is why you just need to be nice to everybody, unless they absolutely deserve it. But, like, just going around randomly being a dick, you might end up on a wall.
Yeah.
And become possessed.
All of the goods over time, picking whatever name. That definitely is another thing, like I've said in the past reviews, like I am really interested in the other killers and like their stories and whatnot.
Yep.
So it's cool seeing the goods, and like of quick flashes
And the bads.
of, the goods and the bads. The quick flashes of both.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
So there we go.
Yep.
All the wrong people suffer in this,
Yes.
right? Like that's the curse too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. We had a big long conversation last night about like all of the potential plot holes of this franchise, and we mostly came up with decent enough reasons or straight up good reasons for like, no, that's okay because of this and that. But there was still a couple that I was like, I don't think that works. I don't really understand that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now this one's purely for story purposes, and even something like Avengers Infinity War is responsible for this. But like the convenience of timing between like when the name is put to rock versus when they become possessed.
Yeah.
Right? Where Nurse Lane sees this dude's name written and then has enough time to come attack him, but then other times we see once the name is put to the wall, like with Sam, she changes instantaneously.
Yeah.
Now, what is the like name, like the amount of names that a good can put to the wall? Can they just like do a bunch of names? Because, you know, the current good,
right,
he puts multiple names on there.
He's put 2 down, yeah.
Yeah, so like can you just say, hey, fuck it, I'm feeling really evil today. I want to put 50 names today.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I guess they need to do at least one.
It just...
And then if it's like not a... I don't know.
Like, I don't know though. Like, what's the real... Unless you're like a morally like grounded person.
Yeah.
Like, what's the real downside to this deal with the devil? Like, if you're just kind of like a person without a conscience, this is like the best deal ever. Well, I just pick some random asshole to die and he kills a bunch of other random assholes I couldn't care less about, and I get like power and money.
Yeah, but they
sign me up.
I mean, technically, I guess the problem is that when they die, they go to hell.
I mean, do they? I'm assuming they made a deal with the devil.
Right.
So, okay, that's it then.
Yeah, so they have like an okay time during life.
Yeah.
But they still are hurting people.
Sure.
A ton of people.
No, should they? I mean, if a hell exists,
and then they die, they don't have a soul anymore, so they don't go to heaven.
Okay.
I mean, that's my understanding of it. So
yeah, it's a hell of a
honestly,
punishment.
I feel like it's not worth it.
No, it's not.
I mean, like, if you think you're going to be in hell for eternity for, like, 100 years of, like, success and whatever.
This just shows you how not religious I am.
Yeah.
Because, like, I straight up didn't even think of hell.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
Because, like, when I die, I think nothing's happening. So, like, in my brain, I was like, so you just kill some random people. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't kill people just to have money and power. That's not me.
Yeah.
But if I was someone who had no conscience, I would just be like, there's no penalty. Because to me, I'm like, oh, nothing's happening after death. So it's like, I'll just kill random people, not care about it, and then get a great life. Mm-hmm. And everyone around me thrives. All the people in Sunnyvale thrive.
Yeah.
But
you're right. Like, if you have no conscience and you don't think that hell exists, there would be no reason not to do it.
Sure, but yeah, that just shows you how not religious I am. That's funny. I didn't even think of it when you said it. I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hell.
That little old place.
That little old place that doesn't exist. Let's see. Yeah, so he gives a name to the devil, and yeah, I mean, they know though. Like, the devil, of course, wants more.
Right.
But they're just picking random names, and then they get to kill him. I don't know, though. Like, it just seems like a weird exchange. Mm-hmm. Like, why does the devil need you? Like, you don't have ownership over these people, right? Like, I guess in a sacrifice, you're kidnapping people or whatever, and I guess it's the same thing. You don't have ownership over anybody. I mean, I don't know. It just like the devil needs your permission. Mm-hmm. like, oh, Mr. Good, I need you to give me a name, and then you go to hell, and I can. It just seems really weak, is what I'm saying. It seems like a really lame loophole by some weak ass being who can't just fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like that line in The Exorcist, like it's too vulgar display of power. It's like, no, you're just a bitch. You're just a bitch who can't just possess people. You need someone else to make a deal with you to give them a completely random name of anybody, and then you can possess that person to kill, and then that person can continue to keep coming back indefinitely to kill the people who know the truth of your legacy. Now, I think the thing we didn't really understand though is like, once people know the truth, really all they have to do is kill the bloodline, and that ends it.
Yeah.
Of the goods.
Right.
Right. But like, then why doesn't Ziggy do anything?
I don't know.
Since she survives and she has the knowledge, we could not figure this out.
Figure it out. I guess
and why aren't the killers of the past endlessly hunting her?
Right.
They have to come back.
I mean, it's because she dies or whatever.
So did Sam. And they're still coming after her.
They're not coming after Sam. They're coming after Dina.
They're coming after... No, but like once Sam wakes back up, then just gets possessed?
Yes.
Is that what happens? So
yeah.
she dies and then they stop coming after her completely.
Right.
And then she becomes possessed. So
right.
they don't try to come after her again.
Yeah.
After that.
Right.
It's just Dina once she finds...
bleeds on the spot or whatever.
Okay.
Or on her.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess that works. That clears that up. But he knew enough to go after Sam because she knew, so he possessed her. So like all you have to do is know. Once he knew Dina, couldn't he just like once he had an issue?
Yeah.
Couldn't he just be like, okay, Dina, Josh?
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Like throw them up on there, then they become possessed, and then they can't do shit.
Right. That's what I would guess as well, but.
Does he have to? But he has to be down there.
Story. Yeah, he has to be down there and like write it on the wall and like do his little ritual thing.
But he could just go over there, right? Like,
yeah.
You just drive straight there and be like, "These bitches are giving me problems."
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
So just make them possessed.
Right.
So he never even had to deal with them.
No.
Anybody he had an issue with, he could have just immediately give the name to the devil.
That's what I thought, but he doesn't do that.
So yeah, there's no reason why he can't give Dina's name to the devil, immediately possess her, and then eliminate her as an issue. Yeah. Because she can't do anything at that point once she's possessed.
But obviously they're hunting her right at the moment, so he's like, he has that method of taking care of them too.
Sure, he has that, but like, why even bother? In addition, like if you can just possess them and get rid of them. Like as soon as someone finds out, as soon as you know someone knows your secret, just call their name out. He did it with Sam. Yeah. So why not do it with Dina? Why not do it with anybody? Why not do it with, Ziggy, just to make sure? Mm-hmm. Right? She's still out there, so she's alive.
Well, he loves Ziggy.
I get that.
But, yeah.
I get that. So he just leaves her alone. But she should know, shouldn't she?
She should. I mean, we were saying, we couldn't come up with a reason why she wouldn't have tried to expose them. The only thing was just maybe she forgot because of all the trauma and just blocked it out.
Yeah. Bullshit. We see super soakers in here. Yep. Seems like a relic of the past. They don't make those anymore. Not that I've ever seen. I've looked for them, but they don't seem to make them anymore. Which is a shame. Yeah, carrying him with the blood, that was cool, but then, of course, Dina has to, stop that so that she can save Ziggy. Yeah. Ziggy Piggy. And what the fuck does that say? ABIC? Abic?
I don't know.
I have no... Oh, able to break the curse momentarily. Got it. The killers attacking each other was okay.
Yeah.
We should have gotten more carnage from that.
Yeah, I agree, but I liked the idea of it.
Him getting to see the truth himself of all the generations of the past and all the pain that he caused and his family caused to everybody, that was cool. Because obviously they don't even care enough. They just do it. It does seem odd to me though that every generation would just do it.
Sure.
Like, I don't know,
But
man. I
it's
feel like
like-
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be
Well,
like,
he also
nah.
kind of questions it when in 78 he's like, I don't know if I want to be who they want me to be,
Sure.
but then he does it anyway.
Falls in line.
yeah.
But what happens if they don't want to do it?
Then that ends, I guess.
This is it?
Yeah.
And then Sarah's okay?
No, because she still doesn't have her truth revealed.
Right.
But yeah.
So if okay,
I don't know.
would she want a good dad if he was like, no, I'm not doing that, and that's awful, and he like killed his dad or whatever, and was like, found out the truth and was like trying to avenge her? Would that be good enough for her?
I'm gonna say probably not, because usually
She wants him
witches
dead, no
are
matter
like,
what he
yeah,
does.
it's like all his ancestors.
That would actually have been kind of a cool movie.
Yeah.
Like, he's actively trying to break the curse by being like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to stop this.
And she's like,
And
that
she's like,
doesn't
no,
matter.
it's not. You're part of that lineage. And it's like, yeah, but what do I have to do? And it's like, you can't do anything. You just were born.
Right.
And you can't exist.
That would suck.
That would be a great movie. Anyway. She uses, like, Fear Street books as armor.
Yeah, it's
So
cute.
They use the writing as plot armor, so why not? And then once the curse is broken, then Sunnyvale suffers from some bad luck. And of course, as usual, these movies always end on this thing where it's like, there are 2 cops dead
Yes.
in a mall with your literal blood everywhere.
Yeah. Like, you're going to jail for a little bit
There's
at least.
probably got to be cameras for murdering cops. I think you're
Yes.
going more
Yeah.
than that. I don't know if there's cameras in 1994 in malls like that overnight. I don't know where the security is. But anyways, they come, they get killed. The sheriff goes missing. These kids are going to jail, dude.
Yeah.
These kids are going to jail. They're not explaining that Sarah Fear and the monsters and all that. That's not happening.
No.
You're going to jail.
Yep.
So who takes the book in the post-credit sequence?
I have no idea. I
Nor
don't
do
even
I.
have a theory. Yeah.
Nor do I.
That's just like the nice little tease for maybe more,
Yeah.
which we would like.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I want to see more of that kid who beats people over the head
Me
with
too.
a bat.
He's so scary.
Yep. So, that's it.
Yeah.
Fear Street, the trilogy, covered in full spoiler discussion, finally. Sorry it took so long. But, there you go. We did it.
We did it.
And, I don't know what we're going to do next. Comment below. What do you think? Is there a slasher film? You know what we should do is Just Before Dawn. I don't know how that's never been done on this channel. I thought I'd done it, but I looked it up. It's like one of the more prominent 80s slashers that
Okay.
somehow just missed a review. I've watched it since I've had the channel. I just don't know how the hell it never got reviewed. But we watched like 10 slashers
We did.
that
And
we
haven't
never reviewed on the channel, which
Yeah.
is really lame. We put them off for way too long, and then
Yeah.
we just we got so uncomfortable with the idea of trying to cover them months later.
Yeah.
Because I was like going back through the notes and being like, I don't even remember half this shit
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So like there's like 10 slasher Sundays that just never got filmed, and I that really sucks because we sat down and watched so many.
It does.
Oh well, what can you do? So that's that. Let us know what you'd like to see on the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.